Hey guys, it's Karina with Karina Loves to Plan. Welcome back to my channel for, yes, another pen video. Yes, there's another one. But this was a Christmas present from my husband. He gave me a gift card to our local stationery shop, and this is what I purchased with it. So let's get started. So turning this around, yes, platinum. Can you guess what it is? So platinum, I say simple, but you've got the cardboard sleeve and then you've got a clamshell box revealing the pen. Now I'm just gonna lift this up actually because it does come with the proprietary cartridge, which I won't be using, but I do keep just in case I decide to empty it out and then fill it with my own ink. And then it has the warranty card and user's manual. So that's all that's underneath. And then pulling out the pen. Yes, I went to my local stationery shop for this called Stylus Fine Pens, and I was able to hold the pen and dip test it there. So yes, this is the Platinum 3776 in Laurel Green. So this is my first platinum. Yes, my first platinum. And I have been looking at platinum for quite some time, and I always wondered whether or not I should purchase one, but I did try this in the store and I really, really loved it. So with the platinum, it is the Laurel Green with the gold trim, and it is a twist cap, and it does come with a 14 karat fine nib. They didn't have a medium nib, but I did try it and I think I'm gonna be okay with a 14 karat nib. And what I like about that is that it's got the heart shape cut out in the nib, and that 3776 I believe is the summit of Mount Fuji, and then you've got the P for platinum and then 14KF. So how many turns does this take to uncap? Let's see, 1.5, 1 3/4 around there. All right, so let's compare the size of this to other pens. So there's the Platinum 3776 in Laurel Green. You've got my Pilot Kakuno, and I'm going to compare it to my Pilot Vanishing Point Stay. And then you have the Sailor Pro Gear, and you'll be able to tell that it is going to be bigger than the Sailor Pro Gear Slim. So I'm going to remove that one. And then you've got, comparing it to the Pelikan M605. And then also comparing it, move the plant, to the TWSBI Diamond 580. So let's uncap these. So there is the 3776 uncap compared to the TWSBI Diamond 580, the Kakuno. You can see that it's actually shorter than the Pilot Kakuno, and obviously the Pilot Vanishing Point doesn't uncap, so let's just take that one out there. And then the Sailor Pro Gear, it looks like it's a little bit longer than the Sailor Pro Gear, and then it looks like the Pelikan, although this is untwisted or open, the Pelikan M605 looks like it is a little bit longer. Now I want to compare actually the nib sizes of the 3776 to the Sailor Pro Gear, and you can see that the way that the platinum nib is, it looks like it's spread out a bit flatter than the Sailor Pro Gear. The Sailor Pro Gear is a 21 karat and this one is a 14 karat. Just even looking at the difference in the feeds, but also you can see the difference really in the way that the nibs are. Really incredible. So this pen posted or capped weighs 24 grams, and uncapped with the converter in it, it weighs 14 grams. So I think that's actually a really, really good size pen. Looking at the size of the Platinum 3776 in my hand, it actually feels quite nice in the hand. The grip section isn't too wide and it's not too narrow either. And then you have the threads here, which actually aren't too sharp. It's got a bit of a step down from the body, if you can see that there. And unless you're actually resting your fingers on there, you really won't feel it. And even doing that, I don't really feel the step down either. And this pen, as you guys probably know already, if you are not familiar with platinum, it is postable for those who like to post their pens. I don't normally like to post my pens, but this doesn't actually feel too bad. It does weigh down the pen a bit in the back, but again, it doesn't bother me too much. So let's go ahead and ink this up. So as I'm about to, or as I just finished inking this up, I forgot to say that my Platinum did come with a converter. It also did come with a cartridge, but it did come with a proprietary converter. Now, I know that there are some retailers that don't sell the converter with the Platinum pen, but just making a note that mine did come with it. One of the really interesting and cool things about the Platinum 3776 is actually in their cap. So they have a system called their slip and seal system. And basically inside of the pen, when you cap it, it is completely airtight, and therefore it is unaffected by changes in cabin pressure, but also Platinum claim that this does not dry out. I think it's 2 years they say that it doesn't dry out. So that's a really, really cool feature of this pen. Now, so here I am writing with my newest pen. I'm gonna leave that unposted for now and see. So this is, Platinum 3776. I know I wrote it up there, but I wanna write it again. In the Laurel Green. And it has a fine 14K nib. And I want to write that as like where it was purchased. Purchased at Stylus Fine Pens, courtesy of my husband for Christmas, and it is currently inked. I don't have any Platinum inks, and I probably should at least try them, but I don't have any. So this is currently inked with Pilot, Iroshizuku, Shin Ryoku. And it's so hard to describe this pen because I'm comparing it to a Sailor as well as a Pilot gold nib. So trying out this Platinum nib for the first time and comparing it to Pilot and Sailor, the Platinum Fine 14K gold nib definitely feels different than a Sailor or a Pilot. And to compare the smoothness, the Pilot 14K Fine nib is buttery smooth. There is hardly any feedback, whereas the Sailor Medium Fine, you can definitely feel the feedback, but it is also quite smooth. Whereas the Platinum Fine gold nib, because it is finer, which is similar to an extra fine for a Western, there is a little bit more tooth, not scratch, but a little bit more tooth and more feedback than a Pilot Fine nib. So in terms of smoothness, Pilot is definitely the smoothest, whereas I feel like Platinum is probably a little bit more toothy. And then in terms of feedback, I think that Sailor would probably have a little bit more feedback, but I need to write with both of them again just to compare. And in terms of the wetness of this nib, writing with the Pilot Iroshizuku ink, the flow is actually quite good. It's not a fire hose or anything. It feels like it has a good average flow. So I'm gonna try and get used to this pen and write with it a little bit more and see how I feel. But I feel like I'm going through that phase where I have, you know, I went through going with the really wet fire hose medium nibs to now I really like the fine nib. So having a selection of all of them would be really, really great for my collection. Can you get a little line variation with that? Tiny bit, but I wouldn't push it. It's not meant to do that. It's not a springy nib, but then reverse writing, scratchy and really, really fine. Not that I would ever do that. So overall first impression of my Platinum 3776 in the Laurel Green with the gold trim. It's such a classic looking pen and I love the green. I love that you can actually see the nib in there. Look at how transparent that is. It's not a demonstrator pen, but I love the transparency in it. It's just so classic looking. And I feel like compared to the pens that I've purchased recently, this is kind of against the grain of all of those super colorful ones that I've gone with. But I feel like in any collection, you have to try a Platinum 3776, like you have to try a Pilot Gold Nib. I feel like it's part of a collection to just be able to try these and see what you think. Now, I have been using this pen for a few days now, and my initial impression was that it was a little bit toothy, but now I absolutely love it. I love that fine, crisp line. I love just the ink flow. This is probably the finest nib that I own, and I absolutely love it. Do you guys have a Platinum 3776, or have you tried a Platinum nib? Let me know in the comments below. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know and I'll answer them as best as I can. Thank you guys very much and have yourselves a great day.